they said, if you buy this pony, you are not to sell her because they know her. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And basically I wanted to do a nice sit down video about how Molly came into my life. I know I'm quite nosy. When I see like a YouTuber I really enjoy watching, I kind of want to get to know them a bit more and like kind of understand like everything, if that makes sense. So I thought I would give it a go and see if anyone likes this video, and then if you have any more questions, just comment them down below. So yeah, basically to summarize it a bit more, I started riding when I was 14, so some could say that was quite late, which I agree, it was quite late. So I started riding on my 2 days after my 14th birthday. My mum surprised me with it, and she got me like jodhpur boots and like jodhpurs, like the classic horse riding wear before Lemieux kind of came all popular and everything. So yeah, I started riding at a riding school when I was 14, and then when I turned 16, the riding school was really short-staffed. So the person who owned the riding school, he asked me if I could work there, and I was like yes, because that was like, you know, dream to work with horses and stuff. So I turned 16 in the October. So obviously I turned 16 quite early, which means I was still in year 11 at this point. So when I turned 16, I was working every single Saturday at this point. And in the June, when I finished school, my old boss, the owner of the riding school, asked me if I could start working weekends. So I started working Saturdays and Sundays, and then in like the summer half term and stuff, he started asking me to work some weekdays for pony days and stuff. So I basically was just doing a lot of that. He was teaching me a lot about teaching as well, riding lessons, so I gained a lot of experience at this point. Riding wise, I wasn't 100% there at that point. I was just riding here and there because I wasn't really at that ability to handle a bit more misbehaving horses. Like I was getting to that point, but I still wasn't 100% there, because at this point I was only riding because I was 16, so 2 years. So then a couple days, which is really funny, a couple days before my 17th birthday, my old boss at the time bought 2 ponies, one 13-hand little Welsh called Fifi, and then he bought Molly. They were both from different places, but they came around the same time. So one of my friends at the time, she took a picture and sent it to me, and she was like, oh my gosh, look at her. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I couldn't believe, like I was so excited. She was the most prettiest pony I've ever seen. And as bizarre as that sounds, but that's what I thought when I saw that picture. I saw that and I was so excited. I was messaging this person at the time and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to ride her. And she was a bit like, I don't think you can ride her yet, because she was 4-year-old. Fair enough. At my yard it was quite competitive, who rides who first, because it was riding school, but I didn't care about riding her, I just wanted to meet her. But she was quite a competitive person, which wasn't that greatest, but you know, some people are just like that. But yeah, so I was like really excited to see her, and this was like end of September and my birthday's the 5th of October. So I remember after me turning 17 and stuff, and my old boss was like, do you want to ride her? And I was like, yes I do. So Molly was so funny when I first ever sat on her. She was quite a funny pony. So to kind of give you an idea of the way she was, what Molly's backstory I knew was Molly was a 4-year-old, and her old owners bought her for their I think granddaughter or something like that, but Molly didn't grow big enough, so she was too small. But they did break her in, and I'm pretty sure what I got told was the people were a bit too heavy for her, in no horrible way or anything, but she was very small at the time and very weak, and obviously they thought she was going to be bigger, but I'm pretty sure I'm not exactly sure if this was their way of thinking, but the only way I could think of is you can put their price up if they're ridden away. So I'm guessing that's why they would have done what they did. Molly came to the yard. She already, when I first met this pony, she was rearing above the door. When you walked away from the stable, you'd see her head going up and down because she was rearing in the stable because she wanted you to come back. I absolutely loved her. So yeah, Molly was getting ridden by another girl, and apparently she was rearing, bucking and everything. So they gave her 2 weeks off to kind of mellow and have a break, because they said that they thought she was in season, and I was like, oh, fair enough. And then after that break, I think she was getting ridden away, and then she I got asked if I wanted to ride her, and I was like, yes. And she was perfect with me because we had an indoor in the riding school. Rode her in the indoor. She was quite funny because the transition to canter was very, very, like, obviously me being an unbalanced rider at the time and her being an unbalanced pony. It was quite funny, but she was so good. She looked after me. I'll put some clips in this video as well. And yeah, I absolutely loved her. She was quite funny because after she cantered, all you had to do was pull her slightly in the mouth and she'd slam on the brakes because she was just such a good pony. And I think I was riding her away for a good couple times, and the things we kind of picked up was she kicked other horses when they got too close, you know, fair enough to her, and then she did rear when she got anxious. So I remember the first time she reared with me was the first time any horse has reared with me before. And basically, I don't know what I was doing. I was just sitting in the middle of the arena on her, and all of a sudden she just went flat up. And my reaction was just to lean forward. It was kind of very natural to me because my old boss always explained to me, if a horse ever goes up, lean forward and put your hands around their neck. So it was just kind of in me to do it. And then Jenny rode her and she reared up and Jenny fell off because she kind of stopped and went up. So that made me very, like, cautious more because she was doing it out of anxious, because she was an anxious pony, if that makes sense. Like, I've had her checked by as many people as I can think of, and she is okay physically. She just does it when she is stressed and anxious, and that's what I want to put out here as well. Molly does not rear because she is in pain. If she was in pain, she would do it a lot more often, but she only does it out hacking when she wants to come home. But that's the only reason she really rears. It's just either excitement or she's anxious. So just to put that out there, she is not in pain. So yeah, anyways, I was riding her away and she was literal little pony. It was the most cutest thing. I'll put loads of videos out. And yeah, I was riding her away. I think I fell off her once. Yeah, I fell off her once while riding her, while she was my old boss's. She was, I think she spooked, and the cutest thing was how I knew she was mine was we were cantering, and basically there was a public footpath next to the outdoor school, and we were cantering, and two people in high vis, I think, were running past, and they kind of came out of nowhere. Molly went that way and I kind of went the other way. But the cutest thing was, I remember getting up and checking my bauble was gone, my pom-pom. I picked it up and I turned around and she was cantering up the school, and then she cantered back to me, and it was the most, like, heartwarming thing ever. So I was riding Molly a lot, and she was giving me a lot of experience with a younger pony, and over time as well I was riding a lot of other naughty riding school ponies. I say naughty, but who knows. I was getting a lot more experience, and then at the time I started loaning her for 2 weeks in the Easter holiday, I think it was. So I started loaning her in the Easter holiday for 2 weeks to kind of thicken her up a bit. And yeah, she was just so much fun, and I did a couple pony days on her, which I was paying out of my own money to do. I didn't get it for free or anything, even though I worked there, no discount or nothing. So I was willingly paying the money back just to ride this pony, even though he let me ride her for free. So it just kind of showed how much I loved her. And then she started getting put in the riding school at this point, and she was kicking a lot of ponies because kids just go right up each other's ponies' bums, like, it's normal. But Molly wasn't happy about this. No child should have been Molly as a 4-year-old. And because of her height, she was getting very small children put on her. So she was like getting like 5-year-olds put on her. And I remember I would have to lead her, and another person had to hold the little kid's leg, because we were so worried that Molly was going to rear. Because basically what triggered Molly's rearing was, so we'd be in like a closed order type thing. So someone would canter to the rear, and then if one pony cantered away from Molly, she'd get so upset. She'd be like, why are they cantering away from me? And that's what triggered her rearing. So I think the more she reared and the more she started kicking other ponies, my old boss was getting a bit sick of it. And I also was like saying, can I please buy her? Even though I knew I had no intentions of buying her, but I used to always say like, please let me buy her. And then here comes the fun thing. So basically this picture actually was before I bought her. This was at a pony day. And anyways, basically there was a horse that came up on the internet called Bonnie. Well, her name wasn't Bonnie. I don't think she had a name, but she was from this sketchy dealer, right? And she was only £1,000, and I had that money, and I really wanted a project. So I wanted to view her. My boss said that he'd drive me up to view her, because he was, you know, he loved breaking in ponies as well. So he said that he'd happily take me up there to try her out and stuff. But the woman basically was like, she's had loads of interest with this pony, can you take her now? My old boss bought her, and he told me, if you want her, you can buy her off me for the exact same price. But if you don't want her, you can buy Molly. And I was like, basically, the reason why I didn't want the other pony called Bonnie, she was being sold as 13.2, but she came as 13 hands. And that's quite a dramatic difference if you think about it. And yeah, my mum was there at the time, and I knew I couldn't pay that amount of money he was asking for her, because she was 4 years old. Like, she wasn't worth the price. I was 17 at this moment, and I was like we obviously went home and discussed it and stuff, and my lovely grandparents decided to help me. They didn't have to, but they really wanted to give me a responsibility, so we paid half, and I had to pay for everything. Like, they said, if you buy this pony, you are not, they know how the horse industry is, they said you are not allowed to sell this pony. And I was like, I will not. But obviously things can change, but I've kept that word. That would never ever happen, because of her height. You know, everyone was wary, but I will never get rid of her. Luckily I'm just short for life. So but yeah, so now I have had Molly for 2 more years. I've known Molly since I think it was 2021. I'm not too sure, but I bought her when I was 17, and then when I turned 18 I had this pony, full responsibility. And yeah, that's mine and Molly's story. I'll make sure to put clips in here to kind of let you have a feel of how much I loved her and everything like that. But I think it was just a sweet story, because I was never meant to have a horse. Like, a little disclaimer, I was never ever allowed a horse. Like, my mum always said you are not to buy a horse. Number one, because she's not taking me there every day, and there are a lot of commitment and everything like that. But throughout this whole process of me riding Molly and everything like that, I had pictures all over my room. Like, obviously these ones up here are quite new, that was last summer at the championships at Berry Farm, and I've got like newer ones up here, but like this is an old one that's from 2022. She looks so little there. As you can see, completely different bridle and stuff. But yeah, so I have been incredibly lucky. If it wasn't for my grandparents, I wouldn't have been able to buy her. But I solely myself have been paying for her, and she's completely my responsibility. And yeah, I thought this would be an interesting story for you guys to get to know her a bit. Also, when I bought her, she did turn 5 at the time. So I say I bought a 4-year-old, but she was rising 5 at that point. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and like a little story time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making this, and well, I can talk about Molly for hours. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos with me and Molly, whether it's chatty ones, whether it's challenges. Just let me know what you want to see. And yeah, make sure you check out my last videos as well, because I've been posting really regularly and keeping on top of it with the posts. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one.